Good afternoon. It's a wonderful pleasure to be here. I've learned a lot from all of you, and I'm coming with a different perspective, the perspective of a social entrepreneur. After many years in management consulting and in nonprofit development, my husband and I decided to start a company called AACE Foods. And AACE Foods really was established to address some of the issues we've discussed over the last day. Number one, the high rates of malnutrition in our country. In a country as big as Nigeria with about 170 million people, 37% of our children are stunted. Yet 60% of our population works in agriculture, 40 to 60% of our fruits and vegetables go to waste, and we import 90% of the processed food we consume. So AACE Foods was established to tackle these challenges and meet the needs of our people, sourcing locally and working with our farmers. Our mission is to provide nutritious food made from the best of West Africa's fruits and vegetables, and our vision is basically to be the preferred provider of food in West Africa, addressing the lives of farmers and improving the nutritional status of our people. So essentially, we're a food processing company addressing food waste from a different perspective, processing food sourced locally so that it can meet the nutritional needs of people. We have products that span the spectrum from complementary food that address moderate malnutrition, that are fortified with vitamins and minerals like a CSB made of sorghum and soya and maize. And then we have a range of spices and spreads, and our product list keeps on increasing every day. Our impact has been quite reaching. We currently are in 10 states in Nigeria with a presence in over 200 supermarkets. We export to the Netherlands and the United States. We engage 10,000 farmers. We've displaced imports for a lot of FMCG companies that were importing historically. And we also have addressed malnutrition by donating our products to IDP camps and working with a few development agencies to supply them with nutritious food. The basis of our competitiveness is really our relationship with farmers. We're not trying to displace them by going into commercial agriculture. We've put them into clusters. We provide microfinance to them. We train them. We give them improved inputs, and then we source from them. And it's been a big breakthrough because historically, many of these farmers did not directly sell their produce to processors in the country. And as I mentioned, we've played a role in fighting moderate malnutrition. We haven't broken through to the WFPs of the world, which prefer to import and bring into our country, but a lot of local NGOs are sourcing from us, and that's one of the issues that I'd like to bring on the table, is that as we think about supporting local farmers, we also have to think about what the role of food aid is in killing local agriculture. What are the 5 key ingredients for our success? I would say the first one is a clear vision. After years of being a consultant, and working with people in the space like many of you, it was really important to show that it could be done in our context. And so having a clear vision of local sourcing was key to our success, but it was also a big challenge. The second key was really the importance of partnerships and the importance of working with a strong group of people, the importance of strong values, governance, and a strong board from the beginning, and then starting with business-to-business relationships because we really didn't have funding to build a retail presence. I also want to mention that partnerships with funding agencies helped us in the beginning. We're beneficiaries of the Africa Diaspora Marketplace, Innovations Against Poverty, which is actually funded by the Swedish government, and Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund. And what did that funding allow us to do? Take risks, experiment, and build a local supply chain, which many, many large companies don't want to bother to do. Now, what are some of the mistakes we made? Oh yeah, our key aspects. What sets us apart is really our local sourcing and our commitments to sourcing globally, local sourcing of globally competitive products. Now, what are some of the mistakes we made? One is product failure. When we started, actually, our first product was going to be jams, sourced locally, processed locally, to displace the strawberry jams that were imported into our country. Very quickly, we understood that many of our fruits didn't grow all year round, and many of the packaging materials we needed were not there, and that many Nigerians wanted strawberry jam because that's what they had been conditioned to consume. Mango jam, pineapple jam, papaya jam was just too exotic for that population for now. The second was really the importance of changing mindsets, that proudly Nigerian products were just as good, if not better, than imported products. And this is a continuing struggle, as I mentioned, with the food aid organizations that prepare to import because they just don't think they can find local competitive products. Now, what advice would I give to myself if I was going to start again? Always have a plan A, B, and C. We could have closed shop if the jams failed and the baby food failed, but we clearly decided that we Year 3 plan was spices, and that was going to be what was really going to put us on the map. So be flexible, remain focused on your values. Now, as I round up, I just want to talk about what gets me excited about African food. If you look at the population trends, Africa's population was 477 million people in 1980, 1.2 billion in 2016, and it's going to be 2.4 billion in 2050. Now, that gives me a lot of concern because we need to feed our people, but also a lot of hope that there are SMEs that are committed to growing locally, sourcing locally, and partnering with organizations to feed ourselves and export. And that's my favorite proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. There's no way you can dramatically transform the agriculture and food space in Africa or across the world unless we work together. And our success as a company, even our moderate success, has been really linked to partnerships. And I think that's going to be key to addressing the food security crisis we all face. Thank you very much.